Are the Rivalate weapons worth getting right now? We're going to find out in today's video. But first of all, if you're new to the channel, I upload PSO2 content daily. So if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. Now, before we deep dive into all the materials required in order to make your Rivalate katana, let's look at what the weapon actually does. So you can see over here, this is the Rivalate katana. It's called the Liberate katana on the JP servers. And the first thing I want you to pay attention to is the potential right here. Let me just make that bigger since I'm getting old. So you can see the potential over here, which is called Liberated Fang. At level 3, increases critical hit rate by 20% and increases power by 16%, decreases PP consumption by 15%. This by itself is super duper strong. It's an unconditional critical hit rate increase by 20%, which is huge for a lot of classes. Increases our power by 16%, that is nuts. Remember our Trailblazer weapon and how hard we had to work just to get that extra 1%? This is giving us 16%, and you don't even need to do any augments on it. And not only that, it also decreases PP consumption by 15% unconditionally. All of these stats over here are unconditional. All you need to do is get the weapon to plus 35 and you benefit from all of this. It's super good. Now the Rivalate weapons only support S5 as well as S4 abilities, okay? So you cannot put S1, S2, or S3 abilities on it. However, the S5 ability is extremely strong. So we're gonna hop over to the Gunblade. So this is the Rivalate Gunblade, and if we go down right here to the special ability factor, you can see it gives you Mysterious Purpose, which increases critical rate by 20% on critical hit, deals an additional 2% damage, and recovers 1% of damage dealt as HP, up to 30 HP per hit. But just having this S5 ability on your Rivalate weapon gives you 40% critical hit rate, which is insane considering that you're only using one augment slot plus the potential from the weapon. And not only that, whenever you deal a critical strike, you deal 2% more damage, which is huge, and you also get lifesteal just from this single ability. This is huge, it's massive, it's insanity, considering that, hey, you don't even need to go super crazy on your augments, because just from this S5 ability, which is a special ability factor, so it's guaranteed you can get it, and from the weapon potential, you're literally good to go. You can slap anything else you want onto the weapon. You can make a 6-slot Rivalate weapon and you're good to go. You'll still deal massive amounts of damage. So now I know a lot of you guys are probably asking, Kero, you showed us a Gunblade. I use a katana, or I use a wand, or I use a rod. How is that going to help me? Well, the thing is, Ziggs allows you to change your Rivalate weapon already. So if you go to change weapon category, you can see over here at the very top, change Rivalate series. So for example, I use a katana. So what I can do is I can make a Gunblade first, get the S5 ability onto that Gunblade, then switch it into the Rivalate katana. And the cost isn't that expensive at all. You just need the Rivalate weapon plus 999 gold Nia and 999 Saf Hearts, which is very inexpensive considering the actual cost of getting a Rivalate weapon. Now hopefully I upsold the weapon enough and you guys are super psyched and like, yeah, I'm gonna get my Rivalate weapon now. Well, now I'm going to give you the bad news, and the bad news is collecting all the pieces in order to make your Rivalate weapon is an absolute nightmare. But at least you don't need to go big brain and suffer through all the augmenting in order to get that 200 power to get the most out of this weapon. Once you get this weapon, you're pretty much good to go. But we're going to make the Gunblade version of the Rivalate weapon, and then we will switch it to whatever weapon you use, mainly because only the Gunblade has that S5 ability, which gives you the extra crit chance, crit damage, and lifesteal. So we're going to click on the Gunblade, and here is the Rivalate Gunblade. So now we're going to go down the list over here of all the required materials and items. But don't worry, if you don't want to make a Gunblade for whatever reason, the materials are exactly the same for all the other weapons as well. But I do recommend to make the Gunblade because only the Gunblade has that S5 ability. I cannot stress this enough. That S5 ability makes and breaks this weapon. So first of all, we need a Novel Gunblade. You can get your Novel Gunblade from the Rising Weapon Badge 5 shop. So all you will need to do is come to the Red Light District, talk to the badge and memory exchanger over here, Rising Weapon Badge 5, and right here, Novel Gunblade. Do remember that the Novel Gunblade only goes up to plus 30, so you're going to need to get multiple copies in order to get it to plus 35. Make sure you enhance the Novel Gunblade up to plus 35 before switching it into the Rivalate weapon, okay? Next up is the Key Rivalate. So you will get your Key Rivalate from the mission pass. All you need to do is get to tier 30, as we can see right here, Key Rivalate. Next up is the Diard and Plamia. In order to get Diards, you're going to have to salvage 15-star weapons, and in order to get the Plamias, you're going to have to salvage 14-star weapons or above. And you can see right here, when you dismantle a 14-star weapon, it will give you 1 emerald as well as 3 Plamia, which is the material you need. If you get a great success, you will get 9 Plamia. So this is going to take quite some time since you need 500 Plamia. I already checked the swap shop. Unfortunately, we cannot use the swap shop to get Plamia, so you're going to have to salvage a bunch of these 14-star weapons in order to get this material. Now, you can also salvage 15-star weapons for Plamia. However, it only gives you 4 Plamia instead of 3. However, if you do hit a great success and get lucky, it will give you 16. Now, the second material you needed was the Diards over here. You're guaranteed 1 Diard every 15-star weapon you salvage, but if you get a great success, you get 3. And currently, this is the only way you can get Plamia as well as Diards. Now, you can also buy this material off the player shop. However, it is very, very expensive. So you can see over here, Diard is going for 300,000 each right here, and Plamia is going for 136,000 each. So it is pretty expensive, considering that you need 500 Plamia as well as 10 of the Diards. So how on earth are we going to be farming for these 14-star and 15-star rarity weapons without RNG? Well, luckily we have a new collection folder. So we go collection folder, and right here, legendary 15-star collection 1. So you're going to click on this, and all of these weapons down here will give you the same augment factor, which is all mastery 5. So just pick 3 weapons. As you can see over here, I have picked both of the katanas as well as a gunblade. It really doesn't matter which you're picking because you're using this as fodder to break down in order to get the materials you need to make your Rivalate weapon. So what do you need to do in order to complete this weapon collection folder? The first part is very straightforward. Urgent quest includes trigger quest. Just spam urgent quest or spam trigger quest and it will fill up this bar. Super easy. The second part over here is a little bit tricky. We have to kill lumen mechs. So where do we find this mob? These mobs only spawn in risk expeditions. So when you scroll out over here, when we talk to Rebecca, we go to main quest, expedition, and you can see here risk exploration forest, underground shaft, floating facility, as well as daybreak province. You're going to need to pick any of these and you just need to run it over and over and over. So risk exploration forest is the one that I personally run. Now keep in mind, this is very difficult to do solo. I do not recommend people to do this solo. I highly recommend you to pick up 12 people, go in together as a group, treat this as an ultimate mission. This is basically an ultimate mission, but much harder because the difficulty is on ultra hard. You cannot do this on super hard or extremely hard or any lower difficulties. It is automatically on ultra hard, and that is the only option to do it on. So you do need to be prepared, you do need to be geared, so you're not going to be able to just go in and just breeze through it because things will get difficult here, okay? Now for X cubes, this is relatively straightforward. You can just spam a bunch of urgent quests, get a bunch of DOs, break them down to X cubes, or you can run the risk explorations because regular X cubes drop from that as well. Now for the class X cubes, if you make any Rivalate weapon other than the Gunblade, you're going to need a specific class X cube. So for example, if I want to make the katana, you're going to see right here that I need a braver or a phantom X cube times 200. When I click on it, exchange, you're going to see that I can only put the braver X cubes right here. However, with the Gunblade, when you go to exchange over here, you can use any class's X cubes. So you can use hero X cubes, braver X cubes, hunter X cubes. You can put any class X cubes in order to hit the 200. So you can see here I put 191 braver X cubes and boom, I put in 9 hunter X cubes in order to hit the 200 class X cubes. So this is another incentive to make the Gunblade first. And last but not least is the ultimate boosters. At the current state of the game, to get ultimate boosters is extremely difficult. There are only 2 ways that I know of on how to get ultimate boosters. One is the Christmas urgent quest, which is the seasonal urgent quest right now. There's a very low chance of it dropping an ultimate booster even on ultra hard. I currently only have 20 ultimate boosters and I still need another 30. The drop rate is abysmal. It's very low. Okay, now the second method is to farm ultimate quests. However, you're limited to the top 3 urgent quests only, so that is Navarius, Lilipan, and Amduskia. You cannot get ultimate boosters from farming remnants of a parallel world. It just doesn't drop there, unfortunately, and the drop rate for this ultimate booster, even on these 3 maps, is also extremely low. So it's kind of a pain in the butt to farm for ultimate boosters at the moment. Now, if you're a little bit patient, in the future we will be able to exchange photon boosters for ultimate boosters at a ratio of 90 photon boosters for 1 ultimate booster. So I highly recommend people to take it easy, especially if you're not close to the 50 ultimate boosters. However, if you're really close, like maybe you're missing like 5 ultimate boosters, then you can probably go and spam a ton of the Christmas urgent quests and hope that you do get the last 5 drops. But like in my case, I still need 30 ultimate boosters, so I'm in no rush to get my Rivalate weapon. I'm just gonna wait until I can exchange my photon boosters into ultimate boosters. That way it'll just make my life so much easier, since I'm sitting on like 5,000 photon boosters, so I'll be able to exchange for hundreds of ultimate boosters at the snap of my fingers. Super duper easy. So in conclusion, is the Rivalate weapon worth getting? This is a hard yes, mainly because of the potential over here. Increases critical rate by 20%, increases your potency, which is power, by 16%, PP consumption reduced by 15%, and if you get the new version, it boosts your potency by 23%, which is power, which is nuts. Not only that, the S5 ability from the Gunblade again gives you critical rate plus 20%, potency, which is power, plus 2%, and restores 1% of the damage dealt, up to 30 HP per hit, all in one S ability, which is the S5 ability. So the Rivalate weapon is insanely strong, but it's a pain in the butt to make, mainly because of 3 factors. One is ultimate boosters, second is Diplamia, as well as the Diards. These 3 materials are very annoying to get. The Diards and the Diplamia, at least you have a way to consistently farm for them, but the ultimate booster has such a low drop rate that honestly, if you're not very close to 50 yet, I would recommend most people to wait until we can exchange our photon boosters into ultimate boosters. When we're able to exchange for the ultimate boosters, the Rivalate weapon goes from a hard yes to a must get, because of just how powerful this weapon is, considering that you don't need to invest a ton of Meseta, a ton of resources into augmenting, because all you need to do is get the S5 ability from the Gunblade, you switch the Gunblade to whatever weapon you want, and you're pretty much good to go, because just from the weapon potential as well as the S5 ability, that's 40% crit chance. That's nuts, as well as the extra crit damage, as well as the lifesteal. You're just good to go. You're just gonna blaze through a ton of stuff, and you don't need to worry too much about augments. You could put in like some simple augments, maybe like a 6-slot weapon, and you'll be good to go. But anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye. Can I say except you're welcome?